Alright guys, today we're going to be learning how to take the front bumper off. Trying something new with this 360 degree view. Hopefully it'll work for you. If not, you can Google what browsers are supported, and hopefully you'll be able to download one. There's going to be a couple things taking this front bumper off, but I think we'll be able to get it. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to need to do is there's a brace right here that has like 4 bolts on it that we're going to need to take off on the side. So you're going to need to take this plastic off underneath, just a regular Phillips head. And I turned my wheel in and kind of raised it up with the jack stand a little bit. See if I can get to it a little easier. Alright guys, we're going to see if we can be able to see in here. See a bolt there, and then there's 2 more above it. Those are the ones that we're going to have to be taking off. You're just taking off the back of the bolt, and then there's a bracket that sits along the front here. So we'll see if we can get that off with a wrench or something. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got 3 of these little 10mm bolts off of the end, nuts. We're just going to go ahead and do the same with the other side. I'm going to jack it up and then turn the wheels all the way to the left. Yeah, that way it just gives you a little bit more working room. And as you can see, I've got these from the plastic piece that went around the wheel well. Alright guys, now that we've got these side brackets off, and I'll show you those later so you can really see what I was talking about. We're going to have to remove these bolts here in the front. I'm probably just going to remove this entire air intake, just get that out of the way. And then there are going to be some bolts down along the bottom, up in here and up here, that are holding it on, and then we should be able to get it right off. Alright guys, now that I got that air intake out, I'm going to leave these 2 bolts here on just a little bit longer, just so that the bumper has something holding it until I get all the bolts in the bottom off. But now we're going to do that, see if I can show you what it means. Alright guys, let's see if we can get down here. So we've got these bolts along the front here that we're going to need to take off, and then get all the way underneath. We got 1 more bolt here on this side and 1 more on the other side. And that's the only thing that was holding us still. And if you can kind of see, these were the bolts we took off earlier. There's 1, 2, and then 3 all the way up at the top. One thing to note before we take the bumper off, we're going to take these, we have to pull them out of their little holding sockets so they have this extra length that we can pull off, and they won't get pulled out of their electrical outlets or anything. Alright, so we're going to take those screws off. Alright guys, one thing to mention that I always do, I always organize my bolts so that I know exactly where they came back from. I know a lot of these are interchangeable, but I like putting it back exactly the way just in case. So as you can see, I got my left side nuts and screws from underneath the tire. I got my right side, and then I've got the ones that came out in the front and then the ones on both sides. And over here, I put the screws back in that held the air intake. That way there's absolutely no problem when I put it back on knowing where it went, or which went where, and I don't lose any either. So, yeah. And now that we got all the screws off, I'm going to take these top bolts off, and we're going to gently ease it off and see what we can do. Alright guys, well as you can see, I forgot this bolt right here on the side holding it in, and there was one over here, because the wonderful folks at Nissan thought, hey, let's put a bolt underneath your coolant hose. So that's going to need to come off in order to get that one. And those are the last 2 holding this on. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, one thing to note guys, I just got this running, so there's only water in here right now. But if there is coolant, you will want to be careful with that. As you might be able to see, my radiator is leaking a little bit right there, which is part of the reason why I'm taking this bumper off. And also, that does not look very good. I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. I did before, but it looks like it needs to be done again. This did have coolant sitting in it for like 10 years beforehand, so that sludge is pretty much, it was throughout the entire system. I tried the best as I could to wash it off, but it looks like I need to do a little bit more. Alright, go ahead and take that bolt off if you can get it now. I think I'll be able to get it. That way I can see where and why this is leaking. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've got it off. I'm resting it on these tabs right now, and I'm definitely going to support that more, just so that these don't get pulled out, the lights. These were what I was taking out earlier. As you can see, there's 3 of them this bracket goes through. There was this piece of foam right here along the front. Yours may or may not have that, I don't know. I'm probably going to keep it just because. Other than that, that's how you take it off. I'm going to see if I can figure out why it's leaking. Looks like I might just not have tightened it down all the way. And thanks for watching. Definitely leave your comments on how this 360 view went. I'm interested to know if it's going to work out, or I can just go back to regular filming if you guys want. So yeah, I don't know, like if you thought this helped you. Thanks guys.